Morning folks, I'm currently puffing and panting my way up Pendle Hill and I'm going to wild camp up there tonight. I've done Pendle loads of times but I've never done it from this side, the Downham side, so it's a new route for me today. It's been frosty overnight but it's thawing now. The ground's still quite hard though, but I'm sweating. I've delaminated several times already, just over wrapped up. Anyway, I'll come back to you in a bit. We've just had a sleety shower, quite heavy, so I've had to go to GoPro mode, so I hope the footage is okay and you can hear me. I'm not that far below the summit plateau now, but don't know whether it's, oh crikey, I don't know whether it's because I've not been out for quite a few weeks, not wild camping anyway, but I'm really struggling up here today. Although it is harder up this side, it's a lot harder than going up from Barley on the other side, the way I usually go up. Right, I've just come off the summit and I've just found this manhole cover here. It covers a well. This is called Fox's Well. It's something to do with George Fox, the founder of the Quaker movement. Apparently it's a right good water source. The only concern is if I lift it up and it's full of big spiders or something, because I don't like spiders. Let's see. Bloody thing up. Hang on. Oh hey, look at that. Can't see any spiders either. A nice jug. Oh hey, look at this and all. Right, I'm going to stock up now, I think. Got a discovery. I have to say, this is pretty cool. Look at that. You know what, there's a little stream just next to me here. I could just as easily get my water from there, but I'm definitely using this. Still going to filter it though. Let's have a draft of this Pendle water, see what it does to me, see if it transforms me. Oh, I feel like a new man. Raring to go. I've never noticed this before. There's a gate post here, Carboniferous limestone, and it is absolutely packed with crinoid fossils. Right, there's loads of places to camp up here. It's too early now for me, it's only about 2 o'clock. So I'm going to dump my bags here because I'm well away from the main paths. I think I'll just go for a bit of a potter about, see if there's out of interest on the top. There's quite a few people coming up to the trig point up there still. Oh, it's fleeing as well, my hands are really cold. I've got gloves on but I can really feel the end of my fingers. I have to dig into my rucksack I think, put my big gloves on. Yeah, I've got a nice spot here. The wind forecast today is to intensify from the southwest, so where I am here at the back of this wall is yeah, that'll afford some shelter during the night. Almost time to get the tent up. Super organised today. I've got the tent up, no fuss. Everything's set up in the porch. And it's looking nice and cosy inside. I don't know if you can make this out, I'm on full zoom here, but you can see the sea down there. I think that's the Ribble Estuary. Just like a little silver strip where the sun's catching the water. I can also see Blackpool Tower as well further north, but this will never pick it up. Now it's brightened up to the north, and right in the centre there you should be able to see Pennines and Fountains Fell. I don't think Ingleborough's in that view, but I'll reposition the camera and show you Ingleborough. Yeah, and that one in the middle, the flat sort of tabletop, that's Ingleborough. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe you can't see Whernside. I thought you could see Whernside as well, but perhaps Ingleborough obscures it. It's nice and clear looking to Bowland as well. Ward Stone, the ice point of Bowland over there. Sorted. I'm only filming using this porch so you can see me. I've got my sort of sleeping bag on the other side of the tent. When I'm lying down in the tent, I like to lean on my left elbow that way and do everything with my right. And just with the lie of the land, it's better if I face the wall. I'm just going to make a cup of tea. So yeah, Pendle Hill. What can I say about Pendle Hill? Well, it's probably most famous for the Pendle witches, but there's loads of stuff on the internet about that. I'm not going to bore you with that. On the way though to Downham, where I set off this morning on the walk, I called in at a little village on the eastern side of Pendle called New Church in Pendle. And it's got a beautiful old church, St Mary's, and there's a couple of interesting features there. Built into the tower, there's like a strange oval stone with like a black circle in the middle. And people call it the Eye of God. I think a lot of people think that's to do with the Pendle witches. I don't know, offer a bit of protection over the area. But reading up on it, it's merely a blocked up little lens-shaped window that in the old days the church warden used to peek through to alert the vicar to funeral or wedding processions. But I always know it as the Eye of God. I think a lot of people do. I did say I was going to mention a bit about George Fox when I was at the well. And Pendle Hill, you could say that is the birthplace of Quakerism, really. In 1652, George Fox came up here and he had a vision. And it was a vision of a big procession of people in white raiment walking towards God, and that was a sign for him to start the movement. Some nice Quaker places to visit in the north of England, actually. I don't know if you've ever been to a place called Brigg Flats, which is it near Sedbergh? Yeah, it's near Sedbergh. Fantastic little Quaker place, that lovely old church, beautiful gardens and flowers. In fact, not far from here, just at Twiston, there's a little Quaker graveyard. It tended to be quite apart and isolated. I once had a look in it, but I couldn't find any gravestones. Although grass was right long, maybe I didn't look hard enough. I've still got it. I'm like Steve Austin. Right, it's 5:30. Sun's set, it's going dark now. Street lights are appearing in the valleys. Just on my way up to the summit of Pendle again. Set off when I thought everyone had gone, but some more people just appeared now at the top. It's been a lovely evening. Miles better than I was expecting. gonna be a cold night, I think, though. Took the temperature a bit ago and it about 1.5 degrees, so I'll check it again a bit later. There's gaps in the clouds, and I can see the moon, but don't know. Can't decide what it's going to do tonight. The first time I camped up on Pendle, I was 18 and I'd just done the Pennine Way and I was feeling as fit as a fiddle. And me and Lee spent the night up here just in sleeping bags. Really cheap, crappy sleeping bags from Army and Navy stores. And we caught a bus to Burnley from home and walked to the summit from Burnley. That was fine. But in the middle of the night, it was absolutely freezing. It was a summer's night, but it was a clear night and just all the heat went out of the air. What a horrible, miserable night. We didn't even have sleeping mats, just cheap, thin sleeping bags just on grass, right by the trig point. And at night, there were bats flying above our heads, which I thought were quite strange. Nice though, I like seeing them, but it was a long, cold night. And the following morning, we left the summit at 6 o'clock. And for whatever reason, I think we'd run out of brass. I don't know. We'd got it in our heads we were going to walk home back to Milnrow from the top of Pendle Hill. I don't know what that is in miles, but it must be at least 30 miles. So we set off at 6 in the morning, traipsed down through Burnley, and then we had to go over the tops through Westthorne to Todmorden. And by the time we got to Todd, we were absolutely knackered and starving. We'd run out of money, we'd had nought to eat. We got to Todd, and then from there we had a massive walk along canal all the way back to Milnrow. And our feet were blistered. Anyway, we made it home at about... In fact, I got back home at 6 p.m, so we'd been walking 12 hours. And I called in at my granddad's just to let him know we're all right, because he used to fret about me, my granddad, when he used to camp out and stuff. So I went to see my granddad, who lived in a bungalow at the top of our street, and like I said, it was 12 hours, a right tough, brutal walk it was. I'll never forget it, but it looking back now I can laugh about it, but at the time it were pretty grim.
It made it hard for you to win when you really don't believe that you can do it.
It's nearly 12:15. It's blowing a gale, but this wall's giving me enough shelter to sort of settle things down a little bit. I'm going to put the earplugs in because I'm going to struggle to sleep though. But yeah, that's it for tonight, and I'll speak to you again in the morning. Good night. Morning folks, it's just shy of 7 o'clock. It's been a windy all night, it's not let up all night. I'm glad I'm next to this wall. I slept quite well really. Woke up a couple of times, but I always dropped off pretty quickly. I was too hot at one point, so I had this on, and I was too hot, so I took this off, and then I was fine. I'm going to have something to eat, a couple of snacks, make a brew, and then I'm going to start tackling down. I've got a couple of options going back. I can either go back the way I came, or there's a bit of a longer route that takes in more of the western edge of Pendle. But once I've packed down, I'll see how I feel really. But I'll speak to you again before I'm done.
All done and dusted, all tidied away, no trace left. Right, I'm on my way now. Just going down the way I came. Weather's really closed in, just as the forecast said. It's like a bit of rain, hail, sleet. Just found this, a bloody big horrible bag of rubbish. Some right scruffy bleeders, aren't there? Yeah, sort of wild camper as well as a wayfarer meal bag in it. What a disgrace. I'm going to take this down with me and bin it when I get to Valley Bottom. So I've got about a mile back to the car, and from here it's 45-minute drive home, so I won't call Pendle local, but it's a pretty close one. My plans this weekend have been to go to Dales or Lakes. I've not been that far north for a while. But the forecast just weren't conducive. I weren't doing a long drive for a bad forecast. But hopefully next time, as we get into March, things might be a little bit better and I can get up there. I'm going away next week for a few days at Yorkshire Dales, family holiday, staying in a cottage. So if I do a decent walk there, I might film that. Right, that'll do for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Look after yourselves.